Making Moves Monday. And let's get into a scripture on tonight before we get started in the topic. Being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. So my topic on tonight is: are you going over your budget? It's very important that you actually set a budget for yourself. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck because they haven't actually set up an actual budget for themselves. So therefore, since they don't have a budget, then they go over the budget and then they overspend, and then now they'll end up living paycheck to paycheck. But before you can actually start doing a budget, it's important to know which things you actually need and which things are actual wants. So, 5 things that you actually should need or should actually have. Number one should be a home. So, either you're paying for a home or you're renting an apartment. That is something that is definitely necessary for you to actually have. Number two, you should have some type of transportation, something that helps you to get from point A to point B to point C. Then number three, definitely your utilities. You want to be able to have your lights, your gas, your water. So utilities are important, and then your electricity as well. Then number four, definitely want to have a phone. That could be a cell phone. I don't know if people are still using house phone. I know some people are. Older people maybe still have some house phones. You want to have some type of way that you can actually communicate to other people. And then number five, groceries. You want to be able to have food on your table, that actually have food to put in your body. Next, you want to definitely make sure that you can actually pay for all of those things. So before you start thinking about getting a haircut, before you start thinking about going to the movies, going out to eat, going on dates, doing other stuff with your money, you should make sure that you're able to meet all 5 of these things. So if you're able to pay for your mortgage or your rent, if you're able to pay for your car note, if you're able to buy groceries, if you're able to pay for your utilities, and if you're able to pay for your phone, then you can actually start to do the other things. But if you aren't able to actually pay for all those things, then this would not be an actual good time to start doing other things. And this is where people start to run into trouble. It's because they haven't paid for those other things first, and they're just spending their money, and then they look up and they say, oh, my rent's due, the car note's due, all these things are due, and you actually can't pay them because you've been doing other things with your money. So be careful of that. Now, a good way to actually budget, there's several different ways you can actually budget your money. But a basic, normal way to actually budget your money is to base it on how you actually get paid. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, in most cases, most people do, then that means you'll possibly get paid twice in a month, and then occasionally maybe you'll get 3 paychecks in a month. But what you want to do is you want to split up how much you're actually making and then how much your actual bills are, so you can split them in half. So for instance, if your cell phone bill was $100 a month, then you want to take out $50 from your paycheck when you get paid, and then on your following paycheck you can take out another $50, and you just have that sitting aside, so then once that cell phone bill comes up, you can go ahead and actually pay it off, and you won't have any issues. And you can do this with all your bills, splitting them in half like this and making sure they're paid. And then after you have done that, you want to look at what kind of money you have after that. And then you can see what you can actually do with your money, if that's hanging out or doing whatever other activities you want to do with your money, you can go ahead and do it and base your budget off of that. Now, the problem is if you find yourself looking at your budget and you see that you're over your budget and you're spending more money than you're bringing in, then you're going to have to try to figure out what you can actually do to bring in more money. So that may be you starting a side hustle, that could be you working another job, that can be you possibly starting some kind of business or doing something that will help you to bring in extra money. Also, too, it may mean you actually going exempt at your job so that you don't actually pay taxes. But I would be cautious to do that if you do not have maybe your own business, because having your own business will help you to have tax deductions or write-offs at the end of the year that will help you out with going exempt at your job. But these are some things that you can possibly do to help you out in that actual situation if you see that you're living beyond your means. The last thing you should do if you're living above your means, you need to actually start cutting some things out. So before you go to those top 5 things that I talk about, look at certain things that you can start cutting out of your life that you can take away, meaning that there may be some streaming channels that you can take off. There may be some cable that you have to get rid of. You may not be able to hang out as much. But then even after you look at those things and you start breaking those things down and how you can cut costs on those things, you want to then start looking at your groceries, how much you're spending on groceries, how much you're spending on eating out. Eating out costs us a lot of money. It's cheaper to buy groceries than it is to eat out. Then you may want to look at your ride. Is your ride affordable for you? Maybe you may have to downgrade from what kind of car that you actually have or how much you're paying in your payments. Then you may have to look at your phone provider. You may have to downgrade that. Maybe you don't have to have all the things on your phone that you have, and you just maybe need to have minutes so that you can actually call people. Then you also want to look at your utilities and how you can shorten the cost on that, turning your lights off, making sure you're not letting the water run, and other things like that. Then lastly, to your transfer with your housing, you want to look at, do I need to downgrade where I actually stay if I'm renting somewhere? And then if you're buying a home, you may look at possibly getting a HELOC or something that can actually help you out. Or you may want to look at actually selling your property or renting it out and you go into an apartment. So you may have to look at these certain things to actually do, but everybody's situation is different, and that's why it's important that you look at your budget and you judge your budget and you figure out if your budget is right for you or if you have to lower your budget. But this has been a Making Moves Monday. Enjoy your night.